The views, opinions and pages shared by UWealth Revolution and guests are not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's Darius Barazandeh. Thanks for tuning in and connecting. Today we are going to be diving into a method, a technique that can create near instant results. And it has literally been documented through various studies at Columbia, Harvard, UCLA, Penn State, validating the results and the effectiveness of this work. And we're going to be talking about maybe a truth might be a little bit inconvenient for some, and that is that every thought, every belief, every feeling starts to materialize the moment we have it. And if we hold on to it and if we can't let it go and we start lingering on it, dwelling on it, these things become physical things. That is how we accumulate many things in our world that we don't want. And this is one of those. And we're going to get into all of it. So Lance, welcome, my friend. I'm super excited. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Darius. I appreciate you bringing us back on the show. And like you talked in the opening, it's been a number of years, and I think our relationship goes back to almost 12 years,
How did this method, this technique, this understanding start to unfold? What is the incubus of the release technique?
Yeah, let me go over the origin and kind of what happened and transpired, how the technique was developed. Okay. So it really started with a man called Lester Levenson. And as Darius said, I knew him at the age of 13, and we'll talk a little about him in more details. But Lester Levenson, at the age of 42 in 1952, suffered two massive heart attacks, not one. And his doctors basically sent him home to die. They gave him about 2 to 3 weeks to live. And back then, they didn't have triple bypass surgery. They didn't have stents. They didn't have all the technology we have today, which people could survive from that. So he basically said, was sent home to die. He said, get some loafers, wear some loafers, and what'll happen is just take it easy, and whatever. So he was a smart physicist and engineer, and he said, well, I'm smarter than that. Stupid me, and basically said, well, what I need to do is I need to change my life and find out where my life really fell apart and where I am now at the age of 42. He had a lot of success in his life. He had a lot of businesses. He had a tremendous amount of wealth at that point in his life. It came and go. It came and went, over time. And basically, Lester went and said, okay, when I was happy, okay, and didn't have any negativity in my life, okay, that was when I was at my best point in my life, and that's what I can do. So he came up, and his teacher was his heart attack. People say, well, who was Lester's teacher? It was his heart attack, And so what he was able to do was around the clock release and let go of all negativity, okay, and unleash all that within 90 days. He did it in 3 months, in 90 days, and let go of all of that. And once he was able to do that, he cured himself. He never saw a doctor for the next 42 years of his life, and he doubled his lifespan. He died at the age of 84 in 1996 or 94. He died, So he was able to, and I can contest this guy. When I met him at the age of 15, we were going through Arizona and Sedona, Arizona, where we had some properties out there with him. And my brother and I have a twin brother, fraternal twin brother, and we couldn't even keep up with him. And he was probably in his 70s, and we're at 15 years old. So he was an extraordinary individual, which we'll talk about. And that was my first, because I just, 15 or 13, you think, this is just a gentleman, he's like grandpa,
some crazy old guy.
How amazing of a person he was. My father would always tell me, but we have stories after stories about my things as a teenager growing up all the way up until 94 when he passed, So he developed this course, and that's where it came from. And then when Larry got into it, Larry was a very successful business person. He was very, very driven. He was very successful in terms of the record. He did mail order. That was his main thing that he did. And I don't know if he ever told you, Darius, because he didn't really brag too much, but he had 16 gold albums, 4 platinum albums, okay? And he won an Effie Award for advertisement. I mean, that's an amazing feat. And he never really talked much about that, but I wanted to share that with you. And so he was basically with partners with multi-billionaires. He was going to the White House because his partners were tied into that. John Huntsman was his partner, who was a multi-billionaire. He passed away a couple of years ago, owned Dow Corporation. And Larry had everything, every toy that you can imagine in his life. And he just was not happy. And he had all these different, I remember as a kid, he had ulcers, he had hay fever, he had allergies. He just was always having an issue with some type of health issue. And he was always angry. That was the thing. He was always angry all the time. And his wife, his second wife, my stepmother, and who I'm in contact with too. I talked to her yesterday. And she basically got him into this new age, courses. And he had us take some of the courses. I'm not going to mention the name of the courses. There's some of them are still around, but it didn't work for him. And then a man came into his office, Larry's office. Yeah. And I know the guy's name. His name was Jim Hurley, nice guy. And he came in and said, Larry, I have this guy I want you to meet, Lester Levenson. And he's like, well, I've done all this spiritual stuff and, it didn't work. And no, this guy's different. I want you to meet him. So he came in and brought him to Lester and took his course, and Larry's life absolutely changed. Okay. And Larry, before that, was at a point where he was written up in Time magazine for all his achievements that he did with the record business. I have the plaque somewhere in here back behind me of him with all his records and how he was on the cover of Time magazine in New York. And basically his doorman said, okay, when he came home that night, when it was all over the papers, he said, it's an honor to bring you up, Larry, Mr. Crane. I'm honored to bring you up there. And he got up to his penthouse suite. He has a 10-room duplex apartment in New York and Manhattan on 63rd Lexington. And basically what he did was, once he got up there, he contemplated suicide. He contemplated and sat over a balcony and said, okay, I've got all the toys, all the things that's supposed to make me happy. And got all these. I have a beautiful wife. I have 2 sons. They're healthy. Everything that he ever wanted that thought would make him happy, he didn't have. And he contemplated for 2 hours, okay, to commit suicide and jump off his balcony at that point. And he said, well, I got to find something. He did that. And he said, let me find something different. And this is what he found. He found Lester Levenson, and he followed him and talked to him almost every day after he met with him. Yeah. And that's how the course developed, and the nice thing about what I had the ability to learn it at a very young age at 13, which I'll go into later, how I used it in my life. I had a lot of obstacles too. I'll talk a little about those. Sure. From financial to health issues, relationship, everything. I used it for every aspect of my life. And I'm really grateful for Larry and Lester bringing this method out. We carry it on still. And every day I work as hard as I can to get it out to all the people there, because I see how it works. And we'll talk about later about some of the amazing stories that came up. And I do want to share one story. I just had a podcast with a long-term customer, and this client, we call them basically graduates. The graduate, she had brain surgery, 5 brain surgeries. She had a brain tumor in the center of her brain. And we'll talk a little about that, but that's one thing that just amazing story. And when I hear these stories, the reason why I mentioned it, we could talk further about it, is that it just melts my heart when I hear those stories and how it changes people's lives. Every time I post something up about Larry or Lester, or when Larry's birthday's up or Larry's passing, we get so many amazing people saying how Larry changed their life. And he came over and he worked 100% in getting out the method out. And he worked with people. And if anyone would call him 4:00 in the morning, he would take the call and work with them. He was that dedicated to getting it out. And so we continue that. And I want to say one thing is, I'm not the teacher that teaches the course. We have 5 to 6 teachers. They're all dedicated teachers. They've been studied with Larry for over 10 years. 2 of the teachers, which I mentioned to you last time, actually found the release technique through your show. And now they've been our teachers for over 10 years. And they're amazing. And they're so dedicated in helping. So now we have replicated Larry by 5, 6 people now that are out there dedicated to help people, and that's a beautiful amazing thing that we have in an organization like this.
Well, I want to get into the story of the lady and her brain. I'm curious about the brain tumor, but I've seen videos from way back of Larry working with people live. and I'm sure you probably were there as a younger guy, people dropping their canes, walking without canes, releasing to the point that they were able to walk again before when they couldn't walk. And, I remember this story, which I want to get into, like why this is happening and what it is. But I remember the story of Lester after he managed to survive, what would have been needed, like a triple bypass, and recover his health. He said, it's not any good if I can't actually use it to also show that in the material world, I can create abundance for myself. What good is it to actually like not have abundance and not be able to eat? So then he went and in a short period of time accumulated like $1 million of real estate after he healed himself of the heart issue.
More than that. Yeah.
More than that. But and this was in the 50s or 60s, like back when $1 million was like 10 million, right? So we're going to get into that. There's a lot of stuff. It's going to blow you away. Tell me real quick, for people wondering about like, what is this? How is this different than other self-growth or quote unquote soul healing methods?
Yeah, I think the best thing to say that I by the way, I've been doing this and I was dedicated and working with Larry for 16 years. So I left my other job and career in telecommunications and data communications and worked with Larry since 2008. But I've seen amazing stories out there, really amazing stories. And, I say that the main thing that I'd say that a lot of people compare us to is that we don't talk at you. We show you and we show you by example. And that's the main thing I think that we do. And that's what Larry always said on your show, I'm sure, is that we always show you how to do it. We don't tell you. There's a lot of new age and a lot of audios out there that say, okay, if you're stressed out, relax. Okay. If you're, if you
they're telling you to relax,
meditate, do that.
Yeah.
We show you step by step on how to do the method. And I think that's the one major thing that makes us different. The other thing is there's a lot of other companies and other organizations out there that teach different methods out there. They're all good. I think that what Larry did over the other people out there that were doing similar work is that he was very, very goal oriented. Okay. And that was the one thing that we always said is that Larry really drove people to get their goals. And that's what they did. It wasn't like just feeling good. That was one part of it that people took the course from. But I think it was mainly it was the goals that people wanted to get. And that's what Larry wanted to do. He pushed people to get their goals. So I think that's the other thing. The other thing that we do, which no one else does out there that I've ever seen in the last 25 years we've been in business, is we offer free support. And that's something that we'll talk about later, that from 9 to 5:30, from Monday to Friday, we offer free support. We have people answering the calls and helping them. So that's anyone stuck. There's no one that I've seen in all these years that can offer that. Okay. I know if you want to get with Tony Robbins, it's $1 million to talk to him. Okay. One-on-one, but we offer that. That's the other thing that we offer. We offer also so much support. We have a Wednesday world call that we have, and that we don't charge for that. That's part of people becoming a graduate. So, I mean, those are some of the things that I think make us a lot different than the other companies out there, organizations that do the similar work.
I love that. Yeah, I want to ask you about you said one of the things that made Larry different was he focused on helping people get their goals. This may seem kind of like an oxymoron. How do you get a goal by releasing? I mean, this is the elephant in the room. How can you release, but then get what you want? Shouldn't you clutch? Shouldn't you grab? Shouldn't you strive? How does that work, Lance?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of new age companies out there, organizations, they do, affirmations, they do picture boards, they do all these other things, and those are all good. Larry really pushed it in getting them to let go of all the negativity. And what the main thing that people have to do is, I guess Larry, he would always explain it as a mental virus. And the brain, the brain is like a computer. And when you enter that virus and everyone gets it from the age of 5, they build up all this mental viruses and all this negativity. And that really is the one that mucks up the whole brain. And I think that's the main thing that Larry did was get rid of all the negativity, all the thoughts out. Because and we'll talk a little later about some of the accomplishments and things that I was able to use the course in my life and some issues that I had. But I think the main thing was letting go of all that negativity and knowing that you have it. That's the one thing. So that that you have it. And the only way to get there is letting go of all that negativity, which the release technique does. Instead of suppressing the feelings, we let it go. And I think that's the most important thing. And also wording it and working with our teachers to help you get those goals. And I've seen amazing goals from people that just are mind-boggling of what they were able to accomplish over all these years, 25 years of Larry's work and Lester's work,
Well, let me get to a question. I love that. And still, I can feel that people are probably still not sure, like, how do you release and actually get what you want? Here's Melissa says, I need to release my belief that manifestation doesn't happen for me, as it seems to be evidenced by my reality. So explain that one. If someone has a belief that manifestation doesn't work and they release that, explain kind of how they might do that, explain how that might help them actually manifest.
Yeah, I mean, you have to envision it. Like I said, the best movie out there is, The Secret, in the last, 15 years. And they all talked about The Secret and knowing what you want and law of attraction of positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. And that's what the release technique does, exactly that. And as a matter of fact, Rhonda Byrne, who was the author of The Secret, the movie, she came out with a book in 2021. I don't know if you know this, and put in her book most of Lester Levenson's quotes in her book in 2021. And she quoted to actually she saved her life with Lester's work. And she went out and she did all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. But
I got the sense, can I say that? I got the sense that she kind of went on a journey herself. Like, she started with the idea that, okay, I put all this stuff in my mind and I have affirmations it's going to happen, but those sometimes have a hard time overcoming your existing deeper subconscious beliefs. And you can wind up kind of driving yourself crazy after a while. And so it's interesting at the end of this journey, because The Secret came out probably 2004 or 5. Now, nearly 15 years later, she came back around to now realize that Lester may have had the real secret. And I'm not saying he's the only one, but that's pretty amazing that she came full circle and quoted Lester. So go on with that, because I think the idea here is that when we let go of all these things that we aren't, there's something inside of us that really is connected to everything, right? That has access to everything. What would you say about that?
I mean, it does have access to everything. And like I've mentioned, in the past, in this short meeting here, is we've gone through so many different avenues of our life and negativity. Okay. And really, I think the most important thing that we have to really learn from releasing or letting go, there's really 3 ways that people deal with feelings. And when it really comes down to is feelings. Okay. There's you suppress your feelings. Most people push it down and suppress it.
Okay.
They don't let it go. The other thing is that they do is they escape. And everyone does that. They're basically watching TV. They're now on their iPhones. They're texting. They're doing drugs. They're doing alcohol. They're going out to clubs. They're eating, overeating, all those things. The most important thing that we know, it's an ornate, nature that we have that everyone has the ability to do, is release and let go of that negativity. We just forgot how to do it. And at the age of 5, and Larry, you've probably heard Larry say the story, is Don and Jill are, playing. Don gets hit. He falls on the ground. He starts crying. And 2 minutes later, they're up and they're playing again. Now, if that happened with people as an adult, they're out there fighting and everyone's fighting. And then they might not talk to that person for 30 years. I've seen that happen so many times, but releasing works. Love is the answer. And if you let all that negativity go, which is what we show how to do it, we don't talk at it, we do it, and show you step by step how to do it. That's the key to release technique.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope we get to do some today on some folks that have some pretty sticky things. And we probably can also see where they're at on a scale of 1 to 10, because I know that was a cool thing. We would see people live on the call actually going from like a 10 on an issue to like a 0 or a 1 or a 2. I've got a question. Linda's asking a little bit about the specifics. I know people are getting curious. She says, is this done through frequencies? So tell us a little bit about that. It's not done through frequency unless it's changed, right, Lance?
It's funny because I was talking to one of my head teachers, Donna, who's been with us for many years. He found us through your show. And we were just talking about that with energy and frequencies. We really don't We don't get involved in that type of aspect of energy and frequencies. So it really doesn't resonate with that. We look at the feelings, we acknowledge those feelings, and we let them go through the process of releasing. That's how we do. So we don't really talk about frequencies in the course.
You know, what's interesting to me, and I'll kind of take my standpoint on this, just from my perspective, is that
Yeah.
there is a frequency of yourself without any limitations. Like there is a energy that you are going to be emitting when you are limitless. There isn't, when you are so released of all things that you're connected to divine love, you're going to have a pretty cool frequency. It's going to be a high vibe, you know. I remember Larry used to tell me Lester would walk into a room and everybody would just be like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? They would feel the love. And he would tell me a story on the last call that we did. And this is one of the things I alluded to, that people started, Lester was at such a high love energy because he just released everything, that people were just giving him stuff like buildings and properties and things like that. And then when he died, I remember Larry said that they found out he had all these properties and buildings that were deeded over to him because he was just receiving, and it wasn't turning off, you know. And so I just think, man, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Darius, he accumulated 100 buildings in New York.
Okay,
I don't know what the amount
so
was.
that's, you know, the story then.
I'll tell you
Oh
a funny story
gosh.
about that, because as a child, I used to always hear that. And I'm like, but what he did, which is even more amazing to that story, is that he gave away when he left New York, because he already had the ability and knew how to materialize properties and get them the way through releasing, that he gave all those buildings to the tenants, and he gave them away to him and left and went back to Sedona and went to retire in Sedona or stay over in Sedona. So he gave that away. And the amazing part of that story, Darius, which blew me away, is I was doing some cold calls back in the 90s, and someone called the office through the organization and said, you know, is this Lester Levenson's company? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, I wanted to thank Lester Levenson for giving me the property and giving it to us. And I never got a chance to say thank you. So it was real. He gave those properties to the tenants, and he left, and then he just was able to accumulate it. He traveled around the world without a penny in his pocket. He went to New York, then he got to LA. He had no money. He got on there, and then he went to this is the story that Larry would always tell. He went to the airport. He ran into a guy, and the guy said, hey, Lester, I haven't seen you in years. I have an apartment. I'm leaving town now. Do you need a place to stay? He went there, got that. So wherever he went, he was able to travel the world with no money, and he accumulated manifestation on the fly. He was able to do that all the time, and it didn't matter, you know, and I've seen it personally. So that's the amazing story that I wanted to say, is it was 100 buildings that he accumulated.
100 buildings. Do you know that stuck with me for years? Larry dropped that one little nugget, and it's like I could feel that this was absolutely a truth, that when you let go of everything, you receive anything you want. It's almost like a biblical truth. And, you know, I mean, like literally like this idea of like, you know, going through the eye of the needle just by being so aligned to this higher vibration, like everything is yours. You're one with everything. So why shouldn't people give it to you? Why shouldn't you just receive it? Yeah, man, this was great, because I have thought about this for years. Thank you for that. 100 properties. Wow. Buildings. Okay. Explain a little bit about abundance, because we shared some stories early on. I read some different testimonials. How does abundance relate to the releasing technique? What is the correlation? People start receiving more through releasing. Again, receiving through releasing kind of sounds like an oxymoron there. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we actually have a course, and we're going to start like that with that title. It's funny that you said that. We just came up with that title. Funny.
Oh, cool.
But in regards to abundance, Larry, the course was originally started as the abundance book, the abundance course. That's what he had. And abundance, I mean, to me and to what Larry had is it doesn't mean money. It doesn't mean you could accumulate wealth. You can accumulate everything across the board. That doesn't mean that you're going to have the abundance of being happy. And I think that's the most important thing. And I just laid that example with with Larry, where he had everything under the sun that's supposed to make you happy, and he wasn't happy. And there was something I saw the other day where Jim Carrey even said that. He goes, I wish, and you might have heard this quote. It was a famous quote. Jim Carrey said, I wish that everyone could have the success that I had and the money I had to get to that level, to see once you get to that, it doesn't bring happiness. And you could have everything like Larry had. And like Larry always used an example of the Jim Belushis that died young, and Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
And now, I mean, look at, and then he said, all those people had everything under the sun. Michael Jackson, they had everything, and they weren't happy. Now, the latest thing is, which won't get into details, we'll see what happens with the allegations, but now with Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, look what he had. I looked him up, and he was worth he's probably worth $1 billion. He's worth about $900 million, the guy. In 2022, he had everything. And look at all the craziness that now he unleashed. And now it's going to open up a whole bunch of other celebrities now that they're talking about on YouTube. So we'll see how that unfolds. But there's another latest example of someone that has everything under the sun. They have so much success, and they have everything and all the craziness, happiness in their life. Just a great example today of where abundance, you can have an abundance amount of money, you can have, and then people don't have an abundance amount of health. If you don't have abundance amount of health, then what good is the money?
Correct.
And abundance, if you don't have abundance of both of those things and you're not happy, then what good is it all? It all has to interrelate with abundance. To me, is being happy. And I think that's the most important thing, is having all those things are great, but I think the most important thing across the board is being happy.
I agree. Absolutely. And yeah, we're seeing firsthand, but every generation has to relearn this. It's so interesting because we're led astray by this belief that having is happiness, or having a certain amount of money, or having a job, or having a certain car. And we end up having to learn it, but it might be much better to just begin by releasing and then having all of it, but not necessarily needing it. Let me ask you about another area that people have a hard time releasing, and that is emotions like fear, worry, and stress. How does that work with the release technique? How do people begin releasing emotions like that? And I want to take some callers as well, because I think if we can do a little bit of releasing on maybe some small issues, it's going to help people to really understand this, but it'll just be the tip of the iceberg. So go ahead and raise your hand by hitting reactions, and we'll take a few callers here in a moment. But fear, worry, traumas, things like that. How do we release that?
Well, I mean, we go, obviously we can't show the whole exercise. It's 21 audios, but we'll definitely work with, your guests and talk about how we can work with them on worry and fear and frustration, and we can go through a quick exercise on how we do that. But, we can do a step-by-step process. Do you want me to work with you on how we do that process? Would you like to do an exercise?
Yeah, can I do one on a guest? Maybe, is that okay? I've got.
You could do it. You could do it with, as long as it's not Susanna. She's a personal friend. We're good. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go with
the other day. Yeah, she's a good friend of ours.
I've got Tiffany, so I'm gonna go with Tiffany. And Tiffany, one of the things I'd like you to do, if you've got a worry, a fear, and I don't even know what it could be for Tiffany, but let us know where it's at. If it's like at a 10 or a 9 or an 8, and then we'll jump to see where we can move it to. We're just going to begin. So let me see if Tiffany's here. Tiffany, you're live with, let's see, Lance Crane. See, Tiffany, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much.
Hey,
so
Tiffany.
Honored.
Oh, it's good to hear your voice again. I love your sweet voice, and I remember you from last season. So welcome. How's everything going?
Thank you.
Well, it's something you want to release. That's why you're on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing okay, but actually not.
Okay.
I don't want to manifest it, but yeah, about everything physically, financially, everything. So
okay.
A lot of fear.
Okay.
And it just stumbled down. And I know how you were talking about law of attraction. I feel like I don't have that down.
Okay.
Definitely create myself, get farther down.
Okay, good. I'm glad you called in. Lance, this is perfect, right? We can start releasing some of this for her and see where we have her end up. This is good.
Yeah. So Tiffany, I'm having a little difficult time hearing you, but maybe you could speak up a little. So Tiffany, can you think of something that frustrates you or that worries you? and you don't have to tell us what it is. We're just going to go on the basis of, everyone can follow along with this process. Yep. Okay. So is there something you could think of in your mind that worries you or frustrates you at this point?
Not being able to get better.
Okay. Okay. And is that worry or is that frustration?
Worry.
Okay. Okay. Good. And there's no reason to hold on to that worry. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help anyone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to try something completely different that you never tried before. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so, as Darius said, from a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the worst and 0 being the least, where are you on that scale of that worry?
10.
A 10. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what I like you to do is I like you to say yes to that frustration. Okay, say YES, yes. So can you say yes to the frustration, Tiffany?
Yes.
And can you say yes some more?
Yes. Yes.
And yes, even some more.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, even more.
Yes. Yes.
And yes,
Yes.
even more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now where are you on the scale 1 to 10? Do you feel a little lighter?
Yeah. Probably an
Yeah.
8.
So that's just the beginning. So where are you now on the scale from 1 to 10?
Probably an 8.
Wow. That's amazing. So let's see if we can even get it lower. Okay. Let's see if we can work through it a little and get rid of that. There's no need to keep that on, keep the worry on. It doesn't help you. And the worry is in your mind. Okay. It's not anyone else's. And the one thing is, that worry, everyone has the ability to let it go, So let's try that practice again. So we're at an 8 now. That's amazing, Tiffany. We're doing great. So can you say yes to that frustration and open it up a little more?
Yes.
And even
Yes.
some more. And say yes a little more.
Yes.
And let it
Yes.
completely dissolve even more.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And even more. Okay, great. So Tiffany, where are you now on the scale of 1 to 10? You sound lighter. I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah. I'd say 6 or 7.
Okay, amazing. So that's an example just in a matter of someone who never released. I mean, obviously there's 21 audios that we have, and there's a lot of coursework we're going to have, which shows you more details. It's not just saying about yes. There's a lot more details in dealing with feelings and dealing with charts and a lot of guidance that we have. But this is just an example of showing that everyone has the ability to release and let go of negativity on the spot, which Tiffany was able to do. And so how do you feel now, Tiffany? You feel a little better? You sound better.
I do. I feel so much better.
Amazing.
That was.
Where's it at
Tiffany,
now? I can feel her voice is like a little bit like just higher. She feels higher vibe.
Yeah, I feel like it's going down to like a 5 or 4. Just like
that's what I could feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot more power in your voice. You have a lot more. It just sounds a lot stronger. It sounds like, it's a transformation. And just, I don't know. We did it, Darius, in 2 minutes with her. I mean,
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity that everyone has the ability to release and feel lighter about anything that happens in their life. And I want to thank you, Tiffany, for being open to working with us on that.
And we're going to do yeah, tell us what's going on now. Now, I was just say I think we're going to do a group process too, just to help folks a little bit. So you'll want to keep listening, but tell us what you're feeling now. What's going on?
I don't know. I have chills all over my body. It's strange.
You're louder.
I feel really light. It just feels like it keeps going down as we're talking.
Okay, Lance, what's going on? Why does this keep going? What did we just do?
Okay. Yes. Well, it's
magic, man. This is magic.
I
love it.
One of our head teachers, Donna, who's a wonderful teacher, and she's going to be, she has 5 other teachers that work with her, which are equally as great. And I was discussing with her, because I know, and your one thing you said, well, what about, I know Darius is going to talk about energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And the one thing that she told me right before the call, and it was real helpful, is she says, the one thing how to relate to energy with release technique is we feel lighter and we float. And that's what she's going through, exactly what Donna had said and discussed with me, reminding me, if we talk about energy, that's the one thing that we see with the releasing is we get lighter. So what she was able to do is let go of all that negative energy, okay, to feel lighter and take that load off of her shoulder. That's why she feels lighter, And if she continued to do it, we probably could get her down to a 0, I think.
Amazing. Amazing. So Tiffany, keep doing it. And we're gonna keep going. I know we've got some other folks. Maybe we can work with some more people, but Tiffany, sending you big love and congratulations. And we're gonna keep explaining more. So don't worry.
Thanks, Tiffany. You have the ability to change. Tiffany, you have the ability to change your mindset and change anything. And the stories that I'll share later on, you'll be like, if they could do that, anyone can do anything in life to change. I mean, it's just, we've seen it happen, mind-boggling of how people's lives change, just changing their mindset and letting go of the negativity. And it just moves to a positive direction. Like we said, positive tracks positive, negative tracks negative. And love is the answer. Send love to it.
Yeah. So Lance, I want to hear some of those stories, but I've got kind of an elephant in the room because you said you had her say yes to the feeling. And a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, if I say yes to that feeling or to that sensation, aren't I just inviting more of that? Shouldn't I say no? Shouldn't I like push it away? I just want to be sure because we did something probably that's very different than what most people, even on this show, would share. And that's why I love having different voices, different viewpoints, different techniques. So explain a little bit about that.
Well, I no is a negative connotation. No one likes to hear no. As children, we always hear no, no, no from our mother and parents. We don't want to hear that all the time. So yes is giving acceptance to that feeling. All feelings want to go. All negative energy wants to leave. Correct. And if you send love and you give love to permission for that energy to leave, that negative thought or that worry or frustration, and send it love and give it permission to leave, it will leave. So that's why we say yes instead of a positive thing. You're accepting.
We're saying yes for it to leave. Like we're saying, yes, it's okay. It's okay to feel.
Yeah,
it's okay to leave.
Accepting it, giving acceptance. No is not accepting it. Yes is accepting it and letting it go. We want all feelings to go. And as Larry always said, you want to send it love. You want to send it love and give it permission to leave.
It's almost like saying no. It's like, no, go back to your room
and
stay in my body. Go back to where you came from and stay lodged in my shoulder. Go back to where you came from and stay lodged in my knee and create more problems. But we say, yes, we're letting it leave, man.
Yeah, because like you said, it's suppressing it. It's pushing that feeling down. Yeah. We want to let it go. We don't want to escape it. Larry used to always say the mind's like a computer,
Yeah.
And I mentioned that in a virus. And it's like, if you take that computer with you, wherever you go, it's going to go with you. That virus is going to go with you. The only time is if you go on a vacation, maybe you could turn that computer off for a few minutes and then you put it back on when you come off vacation. The mental virus is still there. We want to let that go. There's no need to hold on to it.
So with abundance, Lance, when people were, let's say they're like, man, I'm worried about my bills. I'm worried about, not being able to earn money in my business. What is it? What in that case, what are we doing? Are we just releasing the fear? Are we saying yes to the fear? How does that generally begin to flow out?
No, in the course, we don't do that process of yes, and accept it. We go through a much deeper process. Wow. If I just told everyone to say yes to it, we can end the call right now, right? We could just go, Darius, we did our job. We're done. Yeah. So there's a lot more detail in regards to that. I just wanted to give a quick example of someone that didn't go through a process of releasing and understand what it feels like,
Okay, so, great. Yeah. So there's a lot more. I mean, obviously we're scratching the surface, but you know what? It feels good to get some folks down. Can we take another one? And then I want to hear after that some of the stories that you said, some of the stories going to blow people away. I'm going to go to, can I go to Vicky? I want to get to Vicky. And Vicky, I've never seen you on here with your hand raised. So Vicky, you're live with Darius and Lance Crane. And I got to say, Lance, this is real special. When I hear you doing this, it just takes me back. It takes me back to the start of the show. I can kind of feel your dad here too. And man, it's just great. It's just a very heartwarming time, a very fond time in my life and a fond time in UWealth history. So Vicky, you're live with Darius and Lance. I think this is pretty historic. I mean, we're opening up some beautiful energies. What's going on with you?
Hi. Thanks for calling on me.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been with you since you began. But
Me or Lance?
You.
Okay.
Darius.
Okay.
Oh, that just went over. I know it's the emotion of anger, and it's creating the nerve endings of my spine to create pain, which gives me horrendous sciatica. So I'd like to know, actually on the last exercise,
Yes.
I was in a 10 pain, but it took it down to like a 6, which was great.
Okay.
Just from doing that. But I don't know how that happened. I'd like to get rid of it because I'm scheduled to have my nerve ends burned to get rid of this altogether. And if I can do this in another way, that would be amazing.
Lance, she's been a long time listener from the beginning. Let's see what we can do. I mean, we can give it some love. Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky, thanks for being, on the show for all these years and raising your hand and working with you. And what I think, we've worked with a lot of people with anger management. We've had people come in, and what we found out over all the years is that people have, wherever they're angry and they feel that anger, that's where it settles in. If someone is angry and they feel that energy in their throat, to develop throat cancer, to develop disease. Yep. And basically that is something that we've always seen, is that if energy from anger sits in the stomach, that can cause problems with the stomach. It could start causing pain. So Vicky, you said it was in your lower back. I didn't get where your pain was. I'm sorry.
All the way down the first 3 vertebrae.
Okay.
In the lower back. So I don't know what the technical terms are.
Yeah. So Vicky, I'm going to share a story of mine personally. Can I do that? And then we can do a release. Is that okay?
Oh man, this is gold. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. So this is an amazing story that I was able to use releasing. In 2016, I was in a massive car accident where someone mixed up the foot pedal from the gas and they plowed directly into my car, took off the whole front end of the car. Okay. I had spinal injury to my lower back, where I had tremendous pain. I couldn't even get out of the bed. I had to roll out of my bed. And I had basically a 16 millimeter bulge disc in my lower back. If you're at 12, Darius, you need surgery, okay? I had a 6 millimeter bulge disc in my neck, okay? And how it all relates to, I'm going to talk about surgery. That's why I want to bring that up before we do the releasing with you, Vicky, is that all the doctors I saw, they said, Lance, you're going to be paralyzed. You might be a paraplegic if you don't get this operation. And they wanted to take 2 discs out of my neck to basically, which wasn't even FDA approved, and said, you'll take those 2 discs out and you'll be fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be paralyzed. I'm a drummer and I'm not going to get paralyzed. Phil Collins had back surgery. He had that. Now he can't even play drums. I said, I'm not going to do that. Larry came to me and said, Lance, you ever heard of a thing called releasing? And I said, yeah. I go,
yeah, Dad, I do, but I don't listen to you.
Don't do surgery. Prove it to yourself that you can fix it yourself. And so Vicky said, this is where I'm coming back to the story. You're talking about burning nerve endings and dealing with, you don't want to deal with nerve endings. I mean, if it's something that you have to do and you can't get over it, obviously there's people that have to get to that point. But I chose not to do surgery, even though they said not that you're going to be paralyzed, you're not be able to walk, you're not going to do. I will tell you, Darius, I'm a physical guy. I do karate. I'm a drummer. That's a very physical thing. I work out all the time. I go to the gym. I go walk. I recovered from that pain, okay, over 6 years ago, and recovered 100% through releasing. And I had no surgery. Wow. And I had one of our graduates is a spine surgeon, and he believes 100%. And I told him that story, and he goes, that's an amazing story. He goes, if you had those 6 millimeter bulge disc and in your neck and a 14 in your back, that's what the MRI showed. He said, that's amazing. I would recommend surgery. He said, I'm glad you didn't do it. So Vicky, that was my saying to you, is that don't do surgery, work on it through yourself and work through it and see if you can do it. If you need surgery, I understand, but it can help you. And I was in a really bad position, and nerve endings, you don't want to deal with nerves. It's very, very complex surgery, So Vicky, let's work with you on it. I just wanted to share my personal viewpoint in terms of surgery and how I use a release technique that helped me in those areas, Okay. So are you open to trying something completely different, Vicky?
Yes.
Okay, great. So so from a scale from 1 to 10, is it frustration or worry with the pain that you have?
Frustration.
Okay. And the anger too. Okay. Is a
Well,
frustration. Great.
yeah. Basically, I I I hold in my anger. I don't let anybody know I'm angry. Never have. I'm the happy, goofy one. So nobody knows when I'm angry. So all my life, it's built up to this point. Now my
Yeah.
body's saying, hey, you know, you kept your anger in. Now we're going to let you know about it.
Yeah. So
So,
Vicky, my father, Larry Crane, had a similar thing. And that was one of the main reasons why he took the course, is because of anger. He had his veins popping out. He'd yell. As kids, we were scared of him if he got angry. And he was very scary when he got angry. And that was what caused a lot of his illnesses. And I agree with what you're saying. And the nice thing that you recognize, Vicky, is that you recognize that the anger is causing you the physical pain. And that's if you get rid of the anger, there's no reason to hold on to the anger. If you had an ability to let go of that negativity, that anger would be gone and your health would probably be perfect,
yes.
So, and you realize that it's just a matter of doing it. So you got a little benefit of the other release what we did with the other gal, Tiffany. So can we do a little more on that and get you down, see if we can get you down to a 0?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
Please.
Yeah. Let's do that. So, okay. So from a 1 to 10, where are you on that frustration and that anger right now?
I'm at a 6, 7, more of a 6.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So can you get in touch with that frustration? There's no reason to hold on to it. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do anyone else's good. So
yes.
Can you say yes to that frustration?
Yes.
And can you say yes to it some more?
Yes. Some more.
And even some more.
Yes, some more.
And even
yes.
And say yes.
Yes.
And yes, even more.
Yes.
And yes, even more.
Yes.
Okay. So where are you now on the scale from 1 to 10? It sounds like you're light already.
Yeah. I'm 4 or 5.
Okay. So let's do it again and try a little different. Okay.
Okay.
So we want to send love to that frustration. So I'm going to ask you to say something totally different. Can you say, I love you, frustration.
I love
and
you,
I give it
frustration.
permission to leave.
Oh, and you have my permission to leave.
Say, yeah, we're sending in love, that frustration. I love you, and I give it permission to leave.
I love you, and you have my permission to leave.
Okay.
Getting chilled.
Okay. Well, let's continue to do that, and let's get it down. I think we can get it down to a 0. So send the love and say it again. I love you.
I love
and I
you.
give it permission to leave that frustration.
I love you, frustration, and I give you permission to leave.
Okay. So how do you feel now, Vicky, in terms of
I'm feeling
like a 4 or 5?
No, I'm down to a 2.
Okay. Okay.
I'm down to a 2. I have chills, and my head is doing something weird. I don't know. It's
well, you're releasing negative. You're releasing all that energy, that negative energy. The negative energy is going to eat you up. You need to let that go. There's no reason to hold on to it. And I guarantee you, Vicky, I swear to God, and I promise you, if you let go of all that anger, your pain will go away. It will dissolve. I guarantee you it will.
Oh, for good?
For good. Let go of the why be angry? Vicky, are you a New Yorker? I kind of take a New Yorker there a little.
Everybody thinks I am, and I'm
I grew
proud
up in New
of
York,
it.
so.
But no, I'm actually from Pennsylvania, little town outside of Philly, but I'm close to New York. So everybody thinks I'm a New Yorker.
Okay. I kind of, it sounded a little like a New Yorker, but we have one of our great teachers lives in Philly too, so we have
Oh,
East Coaster
really?
teachers too.
You
Yeah.
should let me know who she is, and I'll get in touch with her.
Okay. Well, you'll meet him on one of our courses that we're going to offer at the end of this call, and you get to meet him and talk to him too. And
Oh,
the
that's
bottom line
but
is,
now I'm
Vicky,
in Arizona. I live in
oh, you're
Mesa,
in Arizona.
Arizona.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Beautiful place.
Yeah. Huh.
It's
Okay. Well,
okay if
great.
you don't mind 120 degrees.
Well, you could always go to Sedona. Sedona, Arizona is a beautiful place.
True. That's 2
And a lot
hours from
cooler.
me.
That's where Lester started. The technique was in Sedona retreat center we built out there with Larry. We didn't talk about that, but yeah, it all formulated in Arizona originally, with eventually going
Amazing.
back to Sedona. So
Wow.
It's amazing.
I have chills all over my body, and I believe I'm down to 0.
Oh my gosh. Perfect.
Well,
Well, I'm not even
that's
surprised. I'm
amazing.
not going to do the surprise. Vicky,
For
we
the
did
first time ever, you called on me.
Oh, okay. I'm so
in 15
sorry.
years.
Oh, God. I don't
Well,
feel
I
good about
wish you
that.
learned it 15 years ago from my father. He would have gotten you at a 0 quicker than me, and you would have no pain, and he'd probably fly out and say, I'm going to work with you to get rid of this anger.
She
I
would
would
have
have
been the
loved that.
star student. She might have been on the billboards. But
Yeah,
Larry would have loved taking a liking to you, but take you to Sedona. Well, Vicky, sending you love, and thanks for putting up with me all these years. I mean, you put up with me longer
Well,
than my wife. We've only
A
been
lot
married
of
probably
times
12
I
years.
had to listen to the replays, but
Oh,
a lot of times I was on live. So anyway,
bless you.
thank you, both of you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you,
thank
Vicky,
you.
and keep up that release and keep it going. And I guarantee you that pain will go away,
Okay.
and we'll help you, walk you through it. We're going to have a great offer that will walk you through it and get you even further, benefits. So we can keep it up.
Well, let's do this. I'm going to leave some space for some callers. For people wondering about how this works and what it is and the support, I want to kind of share what y'all are doing, because something you do that's very different than anyone else. You've alluded to it. You said there's actual support for people that want to take the releasing program. Tell me about that support and when that happens, how that happens, etc.
Yeah. So there's 2 things that we do for support. Like I said in the beginning, you asked, what's the difference between release technique and all the other offerings that they have out there in other spiritual field? The one thing that we do is we have support from Monday from Friday from 9 o'clock to 5:30. We have people that take calls. So anyone that's stuck or needs any help, that's absolutely free. We also have a world call every Wednesday. It doesn't matter. It always falls, and that's absolutely free, part of becoming a release technique graduate and going through the course. And on Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, we have a call every Wednesday. It's been going on for 20 years.
Wow.
And if it falls on a holiday, since Larry started it, we've never missed one call ever. Even if it falls on Christmas Day or New Year's Eve, whatever, we're there all the time. We have that call every Wednesday. So that's an amazing support that we offer. And imagine, people who go through therapy, they in Los Angeles, if they have one therapy session for 1 hour with someone, that's alone $250 for a therapy session.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that Larry, we're committed to continue to do. It's hard to do that, and we still continue to do that. And because we believe so much in helping people rather than talking at you, we want to show you and we want to get you there. And that's what we have, amazing offer that you and I put together that is better than we've ever had, I believe. And we can talk about it a little later, but that's the main thing, is that we take you step by step by holding your hand and getting you there to show you how to do it, and that's the important thing. I think that makes us different than any other organization out there.
Well, you know what I want to do? I want to talk a little bit about it, since we're going to take some more people through a process. Take a caller through the process here. I got to say, people are writing in right now. Y'all can read the Zoom. And people are just saying, I'm feeling lighter. This one person says, some chills, says Lisa. I'm at a 0, full of chills. Yes, my scalp is tingling. Still chills coming in. Wow. So very interesting. A lot of people feeling that. Me too, says another caller, still feeling chills. Another person, Janine, feeling chills. Lisa, again, feeling chills. So a lot of people feeling some stuff. I want to share a little bit about the specifics of what we're doing, because one of the things we put together at this page, uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. You know, one of the things we do, we love to support the work of our teachers, healers, and masters, but we also love to, if you want to go deeper, you want to go, hey, you know what, this could be the next evolutionary catalyst for me. We love to make something really special available that's different than what you may find anywhere else, because it supports our show and lets a lot of people be in our organization and do some great things. And this is uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. And this is the power of the release technique. And this is actually two of the ways you can go deeper. It's relatively inexpensive. And really quick, Lance, as we kind of walk through this, we are going to take another caller. There's a lot of stories. There's videos here of people who experience shifts just like you and me. There's stories of financial changes. What's the difference between the two different options for people? And I'll kind of walk through that. You can read through this, but what's the difference between option one and option two? And tell me a little bit about these different choices people might have if they want to take this a step further today. And then we'll get to a caller or two again.
Sure. So, Darius, we have, the flagship product that Larry had promoted was the Abundance Course. And I recorded that back in 1998 with him in Los Angeles. And it got it out to 160,000 people, and it's been proven and been tested, like you mentioned, by many universities out there, and the validity of the release technique. The first offering is the Abundance Course, which gives you 21 audios. I just remastered it. I did the third edition. I just came out with a brand new. I just finished this about a month ago. It was a long feat, and we added a lot of bonuses. We updated a lot of things. We had a lot of new technology and AI that we were able to get the audios to sound better, and also we added many other bonuses on there. So the first offer, which is normally sells, and if you go to our website, it would be $199. Where we have a special offer for only Darius's people, which is $97. It's an amazing opportunity, and so that gives you 22 audios. It gives you a 123-page workbook. It gives you all these things that we talked about.
Real quick, I went on the website and I saw, man, I was like, everything is way more than we're offering this for. It's like $300. And I was like, $99. And I remember thinking, I need to write Diane, our producer, make sure we're not making a mistake here. But then I remembered in my notes, you said, you're going to make this really special because Larry loved the show. So I got to say, for everybody here, it's $97, the first package. And you got all kind of stories here. Health condition disappears, gains 30,000 in income. Working 20 hours or less at my job, third month of having 10,000 plus income. So this piece right here these are the techniques. These are the things that,
the fundamentals,
these are the secrets, the fundamentals, the advanced techniques, the different nuances that make this work all the time. I mean, right? To explain about that. I mean, 22 sessions. I mean, how much do you need to know when we're seeing numbers drop so fast? What else is there? What are some of the nuances here that maybe we don't realize?
Yeah, I mean, releasing is a practice, and the mind is very complex, as Larry said. And you don't take your car, then you have a mechanical problem, you bring it to a mechanic. You don't work on it yourself. And so Larry goes by the step-by-step process that he did not develop. Lester Levenson showed him.
Wow.
Larry only went through the process of teaching what Lester taught him. And all I'm doing is showing what Lester taught me and what Larry taught me, you know? And so in this course, it goes through a lot of different aspects of the mind and showing how to deal with feelings, going through a chart of emotion. There's a lot of exercise that he has. And to get to the core, because we can get to someone's, you know, that anger that she had, and some other frustration people had, but it takes a lot more work to get to the core. It's like peeling an onion. You have to get to that core, to the center of the problem. Okay. So that's what the course really takes you through. A lot of exercises. It's been proven. Like I said, this course came out in 1998. Originally, we remastered it, we updated it. And it's been proven. We get calls and emails every day about how it's changed their lives immensely, you know, and that's why it's not just saying yes. It's about going through a process and peeling that onion and going through many, many exercises. And Larry talks about a lot of different aspects of the course where it comes to abundance, to health, relationship, everything. And we've gotten,
Yes.
and it goes into all those aspects of, there's even an anger management part of it too. So he goes through all those aspects of releasing. And that's why it's really comprehensive, and it really gives you a lot of exercises. You can just, it's experiential, as Larry, you've heard Larry say
Yes.
that many times on your show, I'm sure. And really what it comes down to is people have to go through and do the exercises. We don't just talk at you, you go through the exercise. And if you go through the exercise, we usually tell people to go through at least the first six audios to get the fundamentals of what Larry's teaching.
Okay.
Then you can call the helpline if you get stuck, and we can work with you with that on that.
And
So
I want to mention
that's-
that too, because you got
Yeah.
support access. Sorry to jump in there, but I mean, this is something I would not downplay. You've got a helpline Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific, to be there with you every step of the way for your first year. For your first year, you get stuck, something's not releasing. You're at a 2, you're at a 4. You just call. What do? You just call the line, Lance, and there you go. These wonderful coaches, graduates, and people are there to help.
Yeah, I mean, Darius, the main thing that we want to do, and Larry set this up. We're just keeping Larry's legacy
It's
out
awesome,
there.
man.
Is Larry wanted to get people to move out of all this pain and struggle that everyone has. We want you to get it. So we want to be there to support you every step of the way. I don't know of any other course out there that offers that.
I don't know for $97 of any course we've ever had.
$97.
No,
For
where
less than a therapy session, you're going to get that support. I mean,
That's
$500,
so cool.
it's probably more like $3,000, you know?
I would say, but you know what? I appreciate what you're doing, keeping this alive, not only for the legacy, but for the people out there that need help in today's times. There's a lot coming up, a lot of things happening. Now, the other thing you're doing in Package A here is 10 streaming, coaching, and tip videos. Tell me about this. I have not seen this. I don't remember this piece. I don't know if we added this as a bonus, but this is cool. What's in here?
Yeah, there's videos that we have in the streaming product that's a home study course, and it has a number of videos, 8 hours of video, audio, and streaming. We have a lot of bonuses in there to help you go through the fundamentals. The first thing you want to do is you want to go through the course, the fundamentals, which we call the abundance course or the release technique. That'll be the first thing you want to do. Then you can start stepping into all those other avenues of the bonuses. We have rare audios of Lester Levenson talking about the development of the technique and going through different aspects of audios that he talks about and goal setting and things like that, and the aspect of the mind and so on. So there's all these other bonuses that are in there in addition to the course itself.
Yeah, this is incredible. Yeah, I want to keep going here, and we are going to get to some questions. Go to uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. The other thing, he's got all sorts of incredible things happening. Plus, there was a movie recently done, Happiness. What is it, the movie? Tell me a little bit about this. This is another bonus people are going to get. I mean, this is one of the most elusive, perhaps, questions of all time. People throughout all antiquity have postulated on what is happiness, how do we get it? And this is very interesting. So tell me about this. This is a bonus.
Yeah,
guys.
I went out, this is back in 2011. Everyone was jumping on to this bandwagon of happiness. What is it? And everyone was jumping on that. And I did this documentary, and it was going to be about 120 minutes of a documentary. We were going to, go into monks. We were going to go talk to a lot of different people. We were going to take it really to the next level. It was kind of after the Secret came out.
Yeah.
And, and I said, Larry, I could probably do something at that level as one of the other companies were coming out with documentaries. So it was a documentary on release technique. And at the time, it was all about happiness. Unfortunately, Darius, happiness, I think, is the most important thing. But people we found out, including
Nobody knew.
guys, Tony Robbins, they didn't want to pay for happiness. They didn't. So everyone, and you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone jumped off that, and they went back to abundance, and they went back to money and talking about relationships and things like that. But that's what this was. It was a documentary on the release technique and really what the stem is of happiness. And we had a lot of teachers in there at the time, and it was very well received and an amazing documentary.
So I'll just share with everybody the way this is going to work. If you actually check out, you're going to jump to the release technique page, which is Go Release. And this is where you're going to get this special opportunity. So if you decided, hey, I want to grab the 97 one, you just check out right here. You'll see everything was included. And the reason we're doing it this way is by actually going to their page, you're actually able to get access to stuff seamlessly. It's going to be a lot easier, but just know you're going to click our button, but then you're going to go through to the release technique page and, that website. And you guys have been so credible in the industry for decades. So just know it's safe and it's going to help you to absolutely get started and not miss anything. I love it. I love it. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. Now, this is the piece that you said made some of this work very unique. I think it's unique because of the brilliance of Lester and what you all put together, your dad and yourself. But this goals, Tell me about goals and resistance, because you said something about Larry and goals, which made this really magical. What is the story on goals here?
Yeah, I mean, this course is an advanced course. So once people went through the release technique, Larry would always suggest people to go through the goals and resistance course. And
wow.
And that's what we threw in. We never threw this in. It's a $3 to $35 value. It's an audio replay of Larry going through the course, and it really goes into getting your goals and letting go of that resistance that you have. A lot of people have tremendous resistance and they don't get to the goals because of that. So Larry put this advanced course that was the next level in terms of people getting to advanced levels. That's what we threw this in as a bonus, and we never did this. I don't think we ever offered this course on your show before.
I don't remember it. And again, if you've got a goal of, and again, we're not going to promise financial results. We get in trouble. But if your goal is, you know what, I want to make $1 million or I want to retire. These goals, this is what you would want to use. You want to use the releasing to get the goals. And I got to share a story. I just texted my producer, Diane. It's kind of a funny story. It's a little private, but Diane doesn't even know this. Probably about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, my longtime producer for about 7 years left. And kind of retired and wanted to kind of scale down. And I was very stressed about finding somebody else to fill the role. And so I remember going back, thinking about Larry, thinking about Lester. And for about a month, I dove in and started going through Lester, started going through his stuff and some of the stuff I had, the old interviews with Larry, different things Larry had sent me. And I started releasing the fear of not finding somebody. I released the fear. And it was a very short time later that Diane came into my life. And Diane is the producer that you worked with. She's brilliant. And when I was most stressed, I went back to Larry. I went back to releasing. And I got the idea that if I let go of all that stuff and all that heaviness and all that fear, what I needed would come in the right way. And it did. And she's amazing. And so, man, I mean, it's pretty interesting that here we are. And I just thought about that because I had forgotten about that story. But that was exactly around April of the year before last, I think, or something like that. I was releasing and letting it go. So if you guys have a goal, you have something you want to create, something that you haven't done yet, and you're not even sure how, you're going to want to go through that program in package B and hear Larry and hear him take you through this 15 hours, man. I got to get access to this too, because now I'm kind of amped up to go back through it. So
we'll send it to you, Darius, to get you started
thanks,
tonight.
Man.
Okay?
I love it, dude. This is great. I'm excited. Well, so we've also got, okay, so package B, I'm going to say it's just another $50 more. So it's not like, 5 times the price. So if you can get B, but access to the weekly live Wednesday night releasing. Tell me about that. We kind of talked about it, but that's part of package B, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's part of package A also. So
you
do get that with that. So
okay, good.
Like
good.
I mentioned before, you do get the Wednesday call. It's a world call. People around the world get together, releasing with our teachers on the call. And like I said, it starts at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, PM rather. And we have it every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday, regardless, rain or shine, holiday, it's always there.
Man, that's awesome.
And that's a free bonus that is offered on both.
I love it.
The abundance course. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, here's what I want to do. I'm just going to let everyone know procedurally, if you want to go deeper into this and you get taken to another beautiful, colorful page, don't worry about it. You're going to go straight to there. Just add to cart. You're going to see everything you're going to get. And there you go. It's going to be awesome. Now, what I want to do as people are kind of plugging in, I want to get to some questions people may have. Maybe we can get to some more callers here. So if you all have a question or you're not sure or you just want some support, go ahead and raise your hand. We got a little bit longer here, so I'd love to help some folks. Let's see who's really calling out to me today. All right, I'm going to go with, we've got Lisa. Now, Lisa, you've been tingling and having your head kind of rise up. So let's see what Lisa's up to. Hey, Lisa, how are you doing today?
Well, hi, Darius. This has been such an interesting show. I can't believe I've never looked
I
into
know.
it before. Seriously,
Uh,
I'm blown away.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, wow, what a gift. And I posted, if you had him on the show all these years, we'd all be so much happier and healthier.
Wow. Well, you came on the show probably around 20, you said 17.
Mhm.
And I think Larry, the last time he was on was maybe 2015 or 16. So yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed
I
the
missed
boat.
it. You missed the boat. I've still got some of those interviews out there though. I sent you one. So yeah, what's going on? What do you want to make lighter? It sounds like you're doing pretty good, but is there something you want to play with today with
I'm
Lance?
doing I'm doing better than I was when we started the call.
Okay.
But like I said, the skin issues and everybody, eczema, immune system stuff, and everybody keeps, people keep telling me it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional. Okay, well, it's like a rabbit wheel. It's frustrating, which was why that was so huge for me. It's like, oh, come on already, and then,
Mhm.
which makes it worse. And so I just, yeah, health issues. It's my skin.
Okay.
Sometimes it's debilitating. It hurts so bad and burns. And it's my hands, all the way up to my elbows, which makes it kind of hard to function or drive or open a jar. Yeah. So I would love some help. I don't know whatever the emotion is that I'm holding on to. I don't know what it is. Anger? I don't know.
Okay. So Lisa, it's Lisa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Lisa, let's work through this. Okay. It sounds maybe more frustration. Is that possible? I mean, is it more worry or is it more frustration? Where is it coming from?
Maybe it is worry. Like, oh, am I going to die? Is my body failing me? I don't know. I feel like I want to cry all of a sudden.
Okay. Well,
The
let's
frustration,
work on more. Let's
I
go
will
ahead,
say
Lisa.
I went from a 10 down to a 0 on the frustration.
Okay. Well, let's work on the worry then. Where's the worry from 0 to 10? Let's start there then.
Whoa, well, that's a 10. And I already have chills. It's a 10.
Okay. So you're at a 10 with worry right now. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's making me feel like I want to cry.
No. Yeah, well, if you want to cry, it's okay to cry.
Well, not
But
in a bad way. It's already starting to.
Okay. Well, let's. If we got the frustration down to 0, are you okay with getting us down to a 0 for worry?
Oh, yes, please.
I mean, there's no reason to hold on to the worry. It's your mind just talking to you.
Right.
No one else is worried about it, right? So
no.
just you. It's your mind talking to you. No one else is telling you I'm worried. So let's get it down to a 0. Let's do it real quickly. Okay. So it's a 1 to 10. You said it was a 10. So can you say yes to that frustration? Just
yes,
say the word yes.
Yes.
To the worry. I'm sorry. You're right. The
That's
worry.
all right. Yes.
Yeah. So say yes to worry, please.
Yes.
And say yes some more.
Yes.
And let it totally dissolve even more. Say yes even more to the worry.
Yes. Yes.
And yes even more.
Yes. Yes.
And yes even more.
Yes.
All feelings want to leave, so let them leave and say yes to it. Accept it. Let it go.
Yes. I let it go. You can leave.
And say yes even more.
Yes.
And even some more.
Yes.
Bottling up that worry doesn't help you, doesn't help anyone. So let it completely dissolve. There's no need for it to be there.
Yes.
And say yes even more.
Yes.
And even some more.
Yes.
Okay. So Lisa, where are you now? You sound lighter. How do you feel now? From a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm going to say a 0 or a 1. I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open. Like I'm so tired. And that's what happened the last time. It's like my body is like, oh, thank God. That was exhausting holding on to all of that. I see.
Well,
Yeah,
the
a
funny thing
0
about the
or a
funny thing
1.
about releasing that you mentioned is that we've noticed people get more energy when they release because they let go of all that baggage that is bottled up and suppressing their feelings all these years, and they let it go. It's a load off their shoulder. People tend to sleep less. I don't sleep that much. Lester Levenson, my dad said he maybe slept an hour a day. I tested it one day. I went across. We were in Sedona one day, and we went across there, and he basically had his light on all the time. And I went over there in the middle of the night, and sure enough, I knocked on his door, and he was up. I was like, wow. So we find a lot of releasers,
Wow.
including myself, do less sleeping because you're not escaping. You're a lot lighter. And that's what I think you're experiencing, Lisa, is being a lot lighter.
Right. Like so relaxed. It's,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. It just feels like I know I'll get more energy, but I think right now my body's like, oh my gosh, I just need to take a rest a minute. That was a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
and how we were talking about with Darius about energy and how release activity relates to it, people feel lighter. They just have a lighter feeling, and that's what you're experiencing. And it's a wonderful feeling. I mean, it just there's no reason to hold on to that. It just all that causes is more disease in the body, and that's what causes all these problems in the body. And also in the pocketbook, in people's abundance, all those things. And once you let that all go, that changes your life significantly. And we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen my whole life since the age of 13. And now working with release technique for now 16 years exclusively, I've seen it in all of our retreats, all of our courses. People we're not going to get to a lot of stories, but just unbelievable stories. I've seen people change their lives miraculously, and that's just one example, So Diane, I'm sorry, Lisa, do you want to do a little more work and get you down to a 0? And then maybe we could
don't threaten me with a good time.
She's already at a 0.
Do that? Okay. You got about 30 seconds. I get you to a 0 in 30 seconds. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Good. We're working on getting it faster. Okay. So get in touch with that feeling again, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
That worry. And let it come up. And give it permission to leave. Send it love to let it to leave.
Worry, I give you permission to leave. I send you
You can
love.
say, I love you.
I love you.
And I give it permission to leave. The worry. There's no need to hold on to it. There's no need to worry about anything. It's only your mind telling you that you need to worry. So let that go and say yes even more.
Yes.
And say yes even more.
Yes.
And yes even more. And let it completely dissolve even more.
Yes.
And even some more.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes.
Let all the feelings go. There's no need to hold on to that anymore. All feelings want to leave. And say yes even more.
Yes.
Okay. So now where are you now, Lisa?
Oh, I'm a 0 or a -0. A -1. I don't know.
Okay.
My whole body, like
I'll take that a -1. I like that.
And my hands. I haven't had Reiki hands in a very months and months. My hands are like I could probably cook an egg on my hands right now. They're so hot.
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
Amazing.
what a miracle. Thank you.
Yeah, Lisa, I mean,
feel
just
so much
remember
joy.
that the mind's creative, and that Larry always used to say that, and Lester said that, and it's always thinking, it's always trying to do something to distract you, and if you get to the core of it and let it all go, everything will go to the better in life. And I did that in every aspect of my life. I really did. And I've proven it. And it's as Larry always used to say, it take it for checking, don't believe me. Don't believe Darius. Don't believe Larry, on what he has. I mean, you have to take it for checking, and you saw for yourself that it works. It really, truly does work.
That was miraculous. And what you just explained, now it makes sense of why I was like, oh, I just want to take a nap. Like
Yeah.
my mind was not doing the monkey mind. It's like I was in this Zen meditative state with not a thought in my mind. That's what felt so odd to me. And I feel so joyful. I can't even tell you.
It's building
Thank
up
you.
now. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lisa. We love you. This is
Thank you, Darius.
awesome.
I love you so much.
All right.
Thank you
Oh,
for
wow.
having him on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Yeah, this has been great. Lance, I want to, I know we got to run here. I want to leave with one thing, maybe a story or two of some things you've seen. I'm going to share with everyone. If you want to, if you like this, if you followed along, a lot of people writing in with their heads buzzing, chills, feeling lighter, brighter. Check this out. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Lance, LANCE 28. And it's got a life-changing program for a very, very reasonable amount. And you're going to also get a year of help. So pretty amazing with both packages. So that's absolutely unheard of. Lance, I want to get some stories. I know you've seen some wild things. I mean, I've seen people drop crutches and canes, seen all sorts of things, but you have seen a lot. What are some of your favorite transformations? We'll just close out with one or two that really touched your heart or surprised you or maybe shocked you. What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, Darius, we've seen, I've been going to all these retreats for the last 16 years. So I've seen all these things where people dropping canes. I've seen people get over Parkinson's disease. I've seen people where they had MS. They never walk. They walk across the room. There's videos of that.
Getting out of a wheelchair. Yeah, right?
Out of a wheelchair. And that video came out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It was amazing. Yeah. And when that video came out, we all of a sudden had all these people, people that had were crippled. They were coming to the retreats, and a lot of people were coming in wheelchairs, and they were coming for that, and they got a lot of benefit out of it. So that was a time that really had a whole memosis of what was happening in release technique. And a lot of people were coming in just being able to do all those amazing things, mind over matter, But the one story that I really want to share, which was the one that just came up, and like I started the call, we talked about this woman, Sinley, her name is, and I just did a podcast with her on Friday. Okay, that's why. And I think this is one of the most miraculous and amazing feats that she used the release technique in every aspect of her life when her back was to the wall. And it really is an unbelievable story. And what happened with her is she bought the abundance course, the release technique, the one that we're selling here and offering to your listeners. And she basically took that for relationships. That was the main why she did it. And then it helped her in her relationships. It helped her in everything else in her business and so on. And 2022, about Thanksgiving, Christmas time, she fell over, passed out. They brought her to the emergency room, and they found out she had a tumor the size of a golf ball in the center of her brain.
Oh my gosh.
This woman was told it would take 8 to 10 years for recovery, and they're going to cut through her brain portions where the motor skills are, and that she would not probably see anymore. She would not be able to walk anymore, and she would probably never have to be able to drive ever again. Okay? This woman smiles all the time. She's happy as can be. She went through the process. She was calling us on the Wednesday night calls, when she was in the ICU, releasing, and all the nurses were coming around. She's like, how did you have such a wonderful recovery? Her doctors can't explain the quick recovery she had within days after brain surgery. She didn't have one surgery. She had 5 surgeries where they cut into her brain. And to this day, she speaks faster than I do as a New Yorker. She is so clear in her language, and she drives, she walks, she regained all her vision, and she committed releasing to all of that. And that's how she got there. In addition to that, which makes it even more amazing, Darius, of the story, is that she started 2 businesses, and she has 2 businesses that she used the release technique to improve her business while she was going through the brain surgery. So she used it for every aspect of her life. She used it for a major medical setback that she had. She used it for 2 of her businesses that she had financial abundance on. She's very successful with. And she used it. And the main reason why she got it too, going back to that, was a relationship. So that just really is an extraordinary story that I interviewed her last week. And just a beautiful person. I mean, and when I saw that, it melted my heart to say, what Larry started and what Lester started, it helped so many people. And the one thing that I really want to bring home to everyone here is that we really have people change their lives, and we're here dedicated for transformation. That's what we want. And that's why we offer all these things is transformation. We're not selling a course. We're not selling an audio to make you feel good. We're not telling you to go to one of our courses to be rah, rah, rah. And I'm not going to mention names of guys out there that do a great job at that. We're showing you a course that you'll be able to use the rest of your life. And I made calls about 2 weeks ago to a lot of our graduates that I haven't talked to in a while that have been around for more than 10 years. And every person I talk to says, Lance, I love the release technique. I use it every day of my life. And this is 10, 15 years later. And they use it for every aspect of their life. And that's what makes the biggest thing is it's not a course that you just listen to make you feel good and then you put it on your shelf and you're done. These people practice it every day for more than 10 years and they use it. And, everyone comes up with something that happens in their life. There was another woman that had cancer and she was one of our good customers, graduates. She came to all of our retreats. I talked to her. She said, Lance, I'm sorry I can't make it to the retreats, but if I didn't, she's getting older now and she's got some mobility issues. But she said, if the one thing I want to say is I am so grateful that I learned this so many years ago because it got me through all this and got me through remission and get through my cancer. And if I didn't have that, I would have probably been dead today. So when I hear stories like that, Darius, it's just heartwarming and it just gives you chills, which I think you felt too. And that's the work that Larry and Lester really brought out to the table. I'm out here, basically sharing this amazing method out to everyone and keep it going. And if I didn't have the 5-6 teachers that we have, doing it and working with people, they just do amazing work. And they're as dedicated as Larry. They are truly, truly dedicated. And they're just beautiful human beings to get it out and help. And they want to help everyone. They have that. They're not just here to sell a course. We're here to get you transformation. That's the main thing I want to say.
I love it. And we've got, again, some pretty special opportunities here. You're not going to find anywhere else. I went on the site this morning and was like, oh, do we have a typo? $97. This is $200. And then we've got so many other things that he's including here. A year of support access, 10 streaming coaching and tip audios, plus 7 free audio bonuses, Happiness, What Is It, the movie, plus the goals course that Larry recorded, and a lot more in the Wednesday releasing calls. And I got to say, Lance, I know we're getting close to time, but Judith just wrote in, said, all the aches in my body are almost fully gone, 10 to a 1. And we didn't call on Judy. She was just listening in, experiencing it.
Amazing.
So I got a couple questions real quick. One person says, how long does it take to actually get rid of discomforts in the body? Like a month of daily work, a year? This is a question from Melissa. Now, it could be different for everybody. Usually that's a general answer, but do you have any idea there, like for Melissa, is it something she just needs to experience and see, or do you have any feeling on that?
Plane flew over. I didn't catch what you said. You said what was her issue that she had?
Her question was, how long does it take to actually get rid of pain entirely? Is it a month?
Well,
a day,
we
a
did
year?
it in a few minutes with your viewers, so we can get rid of pain in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
It's question. That quick. And permanent pain. I used it in myself in pain and back surgery without having back surgery and getting through all the spinal things. It took me a little longer, but usually what we said, we just saw all your viewers, they were able to overcome pain in a matter of minutes.
You have to be a certain age for this to work. This is a question from Jan. You have to be a certain age or certain? No,
I started at the age of 13. I used it throughout my whole life. And then we have customers that are we have a customer that is in their 90s that use it. So it doesn't matter. It works in every age group.
What if we don't know specifically what it is from? Do we need to figure out the reason for it? Let's say like something like anger. Ask Penny, do we need to know the reason for the anger, the source of the anger, or do we just start working on the anger?
You start working on the anger. You don't want to figure it out. Larry used to always say, now I'm starting to sound like my dad, right, Darius?
Yeah. This is like, I've been like, man, I feel like I'm going back in time, and it's so beautiful. It's so bittersweet. It's so golden for me. But yeah, man, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Yeah, we don't want to figure it out. We don't want to figure it out. We want to let it go, and people do that and they beat themselves up all the time. Right. You've heard Larry say that many times on your calls. And yeah, it's very simple, and we show you hand in hand, like I said, to learn how to do this technique. And we show you, they don't teach you, we show you how to do it. Like I just went through the process now, you know?
I love it. Well, I'm going to just share for everybody. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. And it's here. We've got something special you're not going to find anywhere else. You're going to go to the Release Technique site, which is really good because then you're going to be in their network, in their system. You're going to get everything there. You're not going to miss a beat. You're going to be connected, and you're going to have some amazing experiences. So check it out. And we're just grateful that Lance was able to take time today. He's super busy as he spearheads this and brings it to more people all over the world. So Lance, thank you, my friend, for doing this and being on the show. This was great. We brought some great love to people. I got more questions than I can answer, but I just want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Darius, so much. And keep up the great work that you do. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, you've helped us get it out to so many people and change so many lives. And we continue to want to do that. And like I said, a couple of our teachers are so dedicated. Amazing. And they learned it from your show, and we would have never connected. So keep up the great work that you do in helping us get the method out and helping more and more people. So I commend you for your great work.
Thank you, my friend. And who knows, maybe some of you will be the teachers of tomorrow of this technique, and not only soul heal yourself, but people all over the world. I think it's amazing. So thank you so much. Check it out. It's at uwealthrevolution.com/Lance, LANCE28. And we are going to send you off in big love. And as I said, this is not something you'll find anywhere else. And, you know, if I can kind of plug into what I think is happening here is that when we release all the gunk, all the stuff that's piled on to this core essence of what we are, to our true divine self, we let all of that go. This inner light, this inner well-being, this inner God self just springs out, springs forward. I think that's why Lester was able to accumulate 100 buildings. Amazing story. The world just gives us everything we want because we're one with everything. We're no longer separate from all the things in our reality. And then we receive everything almost without effort or without really having the struggle, right? So try it, plug into it. If this is something interesting to you, check it out. It's amazing. And I'm going to go deeper in it as well and continue to master it. We send you big love, and we thank Lance for what he's doing and everyone here today for being here. Take care, everyone. We'll see you in the next session. Check it out, uwealthrevolution.com/Lance28. Take care. Much love.